Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Welcome to another card making day here in Simcoe, Ontario, where I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So welcome everybody. We're going to use today another bundle of products from the new annual catalogue. This one's called Seaside Wishes. It's on page 73 in the annual catalogue, and it's $65.50 for the whole suite. So in the bundle, for $65.50 Canadian, you have your stamp set, you have your dies, and you have this hybrid embossing folder. Now a hybrid embossing folder just means that some of the dies will lay right on top in those exact positions, and you'll be able to cut out your embossed image if you wish. You'll see what I mean when we make the card. Let's get this out of the way. So here we have the stamps, beautiful stamp set. Sand dollars, starfish 2 or 3 sentiments, and here are the dies. This is the die that I was talking about that is going to cut out the 3 sand dollars that we're going to use on the card today. So let me just close that, and I have to get these all in the right order. Let's put that out of the way. This is the hybrid embossing folder, and the die lies over this, just like that. It would actually go this way because you need the cutting edge down, but it would lie over the 3 sand dollars like that. And because the sand dollars have got like a little edge around them, this almost locks into place so that you can't slide it around, and it lines up nicely. So let me put that over there. We've got this is the embossing folder, stamps, dies, and we've got some basic supplies. We've got your basic card size. Now I'm going to explain when I say basic card size. We're in North America, we are in Canada, so we use North American sizes. A basic card size is either 11 inches by 4 1/4 scored at 5.5, or it could be 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. If you had this is a tent fold card, so we're using the 11 inch, the whole length of the card. I had a lady comment on one of my videos saying it was a nice video, but it was too bad that I didn't give the measurements in her language. Well, I can't convert the measurements to every language, and card sizes are not the same in every country. So you know, if you live in England, you've got a different card size for your standard card size, so you would have to adjust your measurements a little bit. So we have a North American standard size card, 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5.5. I have a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 4 1/4 that I'm going to cut the sand dollars out of. This is a mat, which is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, so it gives you just about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around the card front when you get it. And I have a piece of cardstock for my sentiment. I've got 2 ink pads here. I have Summer Splash, which matches the mat for the card, Summer Splash, and I have some Pretty in Pink for the centers of the sand dollars. We're going to take the ink pad and we're going to take the embossing folder. Now, the embossing folder has a Stampin' Up logo on the front. That's what we are calling the front of the embossing folder. Okay, I'm going to lie this down, open it up and lie it down, and I'm going to take my ink pad, my Summer Splash ink pad, and I'm going to wipe it all over this embossing folder, just like that. I want all the colour to be really all over. Now I could, if I wanted to, take a baby wipe and clean, or a Kleenex, and clean up the edges of the sand dollars. I'm not going to do that because they're going to be covered up anyway. I'm going to take my piece of white cardstock, one piece of my white cardstock, put it right in the folder, down flat, straight away. Close the folder and go to the Big Shot. Now I can see I've already got ink on my hands, so I need to get that off. Excuse me. This is a bit of a messy process, but it sure does make a nice card. I will be right back from the Big Shot. So here I am, and I'm going to open this up and pop this out. Just like that. Now, if I leave this to dry, it will probably stain my embossing folder. I should have a bowl of water sitting on the floor to drop this right in to get rid of the ink. But I'm just going to give it a good wipe with a baby wipe. Get most of the ink off. So that it does not stain my folder. So there's my folder nice and clean again. You can leave it and hope that the ink doesn't stain it, but I like to wipe it right away, and I'll give it a good wash in soapy water when I'm finished here. Let me put that over there in case I need it. So here we have this lovely background. Now don't look at the sand dollars in the center. They are going to be covered up. Okay. We're going to trim that in just a minute. We now have another piece of basic white cardstock, and we're going to take, I think, yes, this die and the embossing folder, and we're going to put the new piece of cardstock in the embossing folder, run it through and emboss it, and then cut it out with the dies. So I'll be right back. You'll see what I mean in just a second. So I've just come back to give you a bit of a better idea of what I'm doing. I ran this piece of cardstock through the embossing folder. Now I'm taking this really large die, this one with 3 sand dollars on, and I'm going to put it down right on top of the sand dollars, and you just move it around a little bit till you feel it sort of click into place. Right there. I'm going to tape it down because I'm going to carry it over to the Stampin' Emboss machine. Let me just see, I've just moved that a little bit. Piece of tape there, stick another piece there to hold it. So now I'm going to take it over to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and just cut these sand dollars out. So this is what a hybrid embossing folder does for you. I embossed the dies with the I embossed with the embossing folder first, and then I put the big die on, and now carefully I have 3 lovely embossed sand dollars to work with on my card. Just stick that in there out of the way. So, whoops, so there we are. Now, this card front I need to trim down. I need to trim this to 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off each side. If I look at my channel on my cutter, I have an 1/8 of an inch mark just to the right of it, and I'm going to just line it up there, take an 1/8 of an inch off. That's an 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to turn it once. Same again. Turn it again. And one more. There. Now I have my piece of summer splash, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to make it 5 1/4 by 4. It's going to be just a bit bigger than, whoops, police car going past. No, I'm going to make it 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And that will give me a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. 1, 2, 3. Let's have a look. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That should be right. So this piece is cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. This piece is cut to 5 1/4 by 4, and it just gives us a tiny little border around. So we're going to take some liquid adhesive and a little silicone mat. Turn this over. And just using liquid adhesive. Now I know they say more is less with liquid adhesive. Doesn't help me, I always get it all over my hands anyway. There. And I'm putting this on the summer splash mat. 1/16 of an inch all the way around. That's not a very big border, let me tell you. But it's enough to set off the card, to make it stand out on a white card base. It's like I've got a little thread there. There. So you see it's just a tiny little border all the way around. This is going to go on the card front, and you see how nicely it makes it stand out. Let's have a look. I think we need a little bit more. Just a tad of smidgen of glue on that corner. Just to hold it in place, turn this over, same again. Just liquid glue all the way around the outside. Go. Now, do we want we have to decide which way we want it on the card. Do we want it with the two smaller ones at the bottom or the large one at the bottom? I'm going with the large one at the bottom. Good Lord, usually we have nothing but motorcycles going past here today. It's police cars and ambulances, which is sad. I'll turn that face down, give it a good press. Now I'm giving it a really good press because of the embossed piece. I want to make sure I've got some liquid adhesive, you know, on the flat pieces, holding it all nice and firm. So there we have this. Now we have these 3 sand dollars. Okay, we're going to color these in the center with just a little bit of pink. Just a second. What have I got on there? Glitter. Okay. And we're going to use Pretty in Pink ink to do it, and a blending brush. I'll Better bring in my scrappy piece of paper again. So do. Just because I want to rub off some of the ink from the brush. Okay, now I've got a blending brush. It's the smallest one I could find, and I'm just going to lightly pick up some colour from the stamp pad. Start right in the centre and just go lightly. Now you need to be as light as you can, because you can always put colour on, but you can't take it off. And I'm just going to brush this on the petals of this sand dollar, just to give it a little bit of colour. There. Just like that. We'll do the next one. This little one's kind of hard to do because it really is small. That's okay, that's why I'm using the smallest brush I could find. There. And this one. I'm just cleaning off my brush by rubbing it around and just giving them all a little bit of extra colour. There. Put that away. These will go on the front of the card. Now these I'm going to bend and sort of curl a little bit like that. Now I'm going to make sure when I put them down that I have this edge and this edge covered and this edge covered. Okay, I don't want anybody to see any green if they're looking down onto the card. I've curled the sand dollar and I'm going to use 3 dimensionals in the middle, right in the center. That. Oops. Okay, so we're going to line this up. We're going to find the markings and line this up. We have a dent here and a dent here, and we got a dent here and a dent here, so that's where it's going to go. Get it lined up right about there, and as I say, I want to cover the top edge, because if there's a little bit of green showing at the bottom, the sentiment's going across the center of the card and it will hide it. We'll do the same with this. I've got to look for the right spot again. Okay, this big sort of a V is this, I believe, this piece here. Let's have a look. Yes, I think so. Here, and then the big one. I'll put 3 in the center again. Find the right spot. I've got 2 spaces here and 2 here, and I want to make sure the bottom edge of this one is covered. Where am I going? Right about here. There. Now, I've purposely left a little bit of green here and here so you can see what I mean when I put the sentiment on. I have to open the ink pad again. And we're going to stamp a sentiment. Yeah, you see, and that when the sentiment goes over, that's a little wide, but when the sentiment goes across the middle, you're not going to see any green sticking out. But I do want to stamp a starfish on the inside. This is the starfish that comes with the stamp set. And I'm just going to stick him in the corner like that. And I need a sentiment for the front of the card. My sentiment piece is right here, and the sentiment says, "You absolutely made my day." And to get this nice and straight if I can. Take that some more. Nice. There. And I'm just going to trim this a little bit to make it even top and bottom. Not going to be easy to trim because I won't be able to hold it. Give it a little nudge there. I could trim that just a hair more. No, I'm not. I'm going to, because if I trim it a hair more, I'll make a mess of it. So let's just notch that. Do the same with this side. Whoops. I'll just stick this up on a couple of dimensionals. Lost them. I'm just putting one right at each end of the sentiment, because when it lies over the sand dollars, it's going to be held up. So I'm just going to put it like this, and my dimensional is here and here. And it's just going to sit right there. And I have some iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Now these are not new jewels, they're old jewels, but they are lovely, and they pick up the colour behind them very nicely. I didn't have a pink jewel, so I'm just using these. Right there. I've got glitter on my desk somewhere because I'm getting glitter all over everything. All right, so that is today's card. Quick, simple. Used one stamp and die set, an embossing folder, and it made a really pretty card. There it is. So that's it. That's today's card. You can actually see those little gems sparkling quite nicely in there. Quick, simple card. You made my day. That's it for this week, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Have a great week. Bye.